on the TV, on the radio, and even social media, everyone has become a debater. Hot heads, hot takes, and lots of hot air are now the norm. But only one can be the master debater. This is Master Debaters from News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
I'm Dennis Foley, and welcome to Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins. This week, our first debater can be heard each Saturday morning on the Saturday Morning Hangover on ESPN San Antonio. James Pledger. Hey, James.
What's going on, Dennis?
Hey. Now, our next debater is making his debut on Master Debaters and can be heard each day on Energy 94.1 here in San Antonio. Welcome, Cisco. Hey, Cisco.
Yes, how you doing? Great to be here.
Welcome. And our third debater is also making his Master Debaters debut, and he can be heard on WRNO in New Orleans. Please welcome James Parker. Hey, James.
Hey, thanks. Great to be here.
Now, they will all be presenting arguments in an effort to try to win over our judge, who this week is Stephanie from New York. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, how's it going? I don't have a New York accent. Please don't be confused. You're all nomads.
Yeah, exactly. Now, her job will be to analyze and critique each response our contestants give to questions that I present throughout the show. Now, along with asking the questions here on the show, I'm also the show's referee. So if I hear something I don't like, you'll hear this whistle. Now, before we get started, let's give our contestants a chance to get to know the judge a little bit better with a question. We'll start with James Pledger. What do you want to ask our judge to get to know her a little bit better?
Oh, boy. This is
What's
like that
your
old dating
favorite
show.
color Sour Patch Kid?
Oh, blue.
Okay.
Nice.
Blue raspberry.
Cisco, do you have a question to get to know our judge a little bit better?
Yeah, Jets or Giants?
Neither. I don't watch football. Pretty
Oh,
little curveball there.
yeah.
James Parker, do you have a...
I'm a Golden Knights fan. That's hockey.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
hockey.
okay. James Parker, do you have a question for our judge, Stephanie?
What is the last series you finished on Netflix?
Oh, darn. Okay. So not on Netflix. Well, actually, no, I can answer that. Because I finished something called Louder Milk on Amazon Prime. It's amazing. But no, on Netflix, I just finished Dead to Me. The Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini.
Cool.
I hear you.
Where it's a very dark comedy. I think it more so bends toward more drama than anything. But Christina Applegate is amazing. And she's basically my id as a person.
Very cool. Well, let's get the debate started.
Opening arguments on Master Debaters.
It is time for opening arguments, and in this segment, I will give each combatant a question. That combatant answers the question, and our judge, Stephanie, will give them a score between 0 and 10 points. They'll have 30 seconds for their argument, and a buzzer will let them know when that time is up. First topic, do you remember the USFL?
Under the dome today, the undefeated New Jersey Generals with a record of 3-0, the Houston Gamblers 2-1. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson.
The very short-lived Spring Football League is coming back next year after 4 decades. The new United States Football League announcing it will play next spring with a minimum of 8 teams, which along with the cities, head coaches, and schedule won't be announced until later. The USFL will use the same logo it did back in the early 80s, which was red, white, and blue with stars and stripes. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
All right, James Pledger, yay or nay to the return of the USFL? 30 seconds starts now.
Hey, I mean, this is fantastic because they're doing it unlike the first time when they tried to compete against the NFL. They are now trying to do it in the spring, in the offseason of the NFL, which would also give it the potential to be a developmental league for the league in which they wouldn't have to pay for their players that they bring into the league. So I think this is a fantastic idea to be able to bring spring football, because during the pandemic, what we saw with lower leagues, it worked.
All right, Stephanie, who said earlier that she does not like football, what score do you give that 0 to 10?
Let's see. It's a really good point to have like a little feeding system. And I always like seeing people at the start of the career trying, when you have the most energy for your dream and life hasn't beaten you down yet. Love seeing people that still have that sparkle. I'm going to give it a 7.
All right, next topic. Amateur investors inspired by a 1,600% surge in GameStop share prices in January are at it again. Those traders have set their eyes and their sights on AMC Entertainment.
The movie theater chain watched its stock price nearly double yesterday, reaching a market capitalization of more than $28 billion. Chatter on Reddit suggests that the current rally is not over. The success of so-called meme stocks, those that rise in value not because of the performance of the company, but because of hype on social media, has made millionaires of some day traders while frustrating long-term investors. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
All right, Cisco, are meme stocks, or as the cool kids call them, stonks, a good thing or a bad thing? 30 seconds.
Listen, I think this is a great thing. I mean, it's given people, everywhere, they can download an app like Robinhood and be a part of, the finance and the American dream. They can invest, and it's given people, my son, right, an opportunity to learn and to grow and to invest in some of these companies. I mean, you're talking AMC, Naked, BlackBerry, all these companies that these big, huge hedge funds have shorted, giving these kids an opportunity to have some fun and to grow their portfolio. So I think it's a great idea.
All right, Stephanie, what'd you think of that argument, 0 to 10?
So I am not someone that comes from money. I'm very, middle class, grew up very poor individual, so I can't really relate all that much to it. And I truly think that, capitalism is a scam. So I would say 5.
Okay, next topic. One of the nation's largest banks is doing away with overdraft fees.
Ally Financial says it's getting rid of overdraft fees on all of its banking products, becoming the first large U.S. bank to do so. Critics of the practice often cite what they call the $38 cup of coffee, where a customer overdrafts for a $3 drink and ends up paying a $35 fee. In its announcement, Ally cited the impact that overdraft fees have had on minority communities. Ally says overdrafted transactions will now be approved at the bank's discretion, with smaller transactions likely to be approved. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
All right, James Parker, overdraft fees, are they a good thing or a bad thing? 30 seconds.
It depends on how high they are. A $100 overdraft fee, everyone agrees that's a little ridiculous. A 1 penny overdraft fee, I think we would all like that better, but the banks would probably like that less. Hopefully these capitalist pigs will finally get what's coming to them. Isn't that right, Stephanie? But I think this is great publicity, and this is going to be great because it will encourage other banks to sort of compete and go cheaper. And there's no reason it shouldn't be a lot cheaper. They've gotten the price of stocks kept getting cheaper and cheaper to trade until it's now down to 0. That's where all this Robinhood stuff came from. Why can't overdraft fees go to 0 too?
All right, Stephanie, what score do you give that 0 to 10?
So a few points off for being so obviously catering to the judge. I mean, keep a little subtle, fellas. I understand what you're trying to do here. I said it. But on the other hand, that's the first thing that I thought is that, yes, they should be at 0 because forget the bank. They can go take a long walk off a short pier. So I say 8 points.
Okay, well, coming up in the next segment.
They've got that college diploma, but how does the class of 2021 feel about the future? I'm Vicki Barker.
We'll debate that next on Master Debaters from KTSA.
This is Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins.
It is. We have James Pledger, Cisco, and James Parker this week competing to convince our judge, Stephanie from New York, that their argument is the best argument. And if you want to be a judge on a future edition of Master Debaters, head over to our website, ktsa.com, and sign up. So let's get the debate going.
For argument's sake, on Master Debaters.
Yes, in this segment, things will start getting a little more interested. I'm going to give all 3 contestants the same question, and then they will each take a turn presenting their argument on that topic. After they each take their 30 seconds to respond, our judge will give each of them anywhere from 0 to 10 points for their responses. The first topic, opinions about the CDC have varied over the past year.
A new survey by Invisibly weighs how public sentiment of the CDC has changed over the pandemic. 39% of respondents said in April the agency is completely trustworthy, compared to 29% in July 2020. 33% said in April the agency is completely untrustworthy, compared to 23% last July. 18 to 24-year-olds were most likely to trust CDC guidelines. 50% of women trust the CDC compared to 38% of men. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
James Pledger, do you trust the CDC? 30 seconds.
About as much as you can trust something. I'm not going to give anything 100% certainty when it relates to my trustworthiness unless they earn it. But I do believe as long as you research what the information that's being put out and that information matches up with what you're getting and researching, then you have no reason not to trust them to the extent of like the vaccine. If you tell me that this is going to help and the research that I did also backs that up, then yes, I trust you.
CDC, do you trust them, Cisco? 30 seconds.
I do trust them, and I believe these. They're all scientists. I don't think they're out there to harm us. I think the whole political landscape has given people second thoughts about the CDC. The coronavirus was something new, right? They were learning as we go. We've all learned things. They've learned things. These scientists as we've gone through this pandemic. So at the end of the day, I agree with what James said. Do your own research, make your own assessment on it. But I do trust them. They're scientists, and they've done a pretty good job.
James Parker, do you trust the CDC? 30 seconds.
Generally speaking, no. But as you go further down the ranks, I find that people who are more trustworthy, whether it's at a company, a corporation, the military, whatever. If you talk to the soldiers on the front line, you'll get the straight story. But the higher you go up in the hierarchy, the more political it gets. So the people that are the bosses, I consider them in the same class as politicians. The scientists that are actually wearing the coats and seeing patients, yes, I do trust them. But I don't want to say I trust all the CDC just implicitly. That's a negative.
All right, Stephanie, do you trust those answers? What score are you giving out to each of them, 0 to 10?
I believe it was Jonathan Swift that said, when a true genius appears, you can know him by this sign, that all the dunces in the Confederacy are against him, which I feel all three contestants pretty much said. Some a little more paranoid than others, and I think James, number one, put that very eloquently. Kind of said, well, you can trust some people, not all of them. So I'm going to say 7. It's a strong 7, though.
Okay, and Cisco and James Parker, which yours you want to give them?
Let's see. So I loved Cisco's point that they're also learning because they're also people just like us. I'm going to give you a 9.
And then James
I like
Parker?
the empathy. I like the trust of other people. He concerns me a little bit. He got a little, it sounded like he was a little paranoid toward the end there. I wanted to give him a hug. Like, are you okay? Are you in a bunker with like a, telescope out, making sure no one gets to your farm? Like, you just sound, I'm a little nervous for you. Like, I hope you're all right over there. So I'm going to give you a soft 6. Because I'm worried.
Next topic. The U.S. Supreme Court sided with a former police officer Thursday in rejecting a broad view of computer fraud.
If you've ever sent a personal email or shopped online or browsed social media on a work computer, the Supreme Court ruling signals you've done nothing wrong. A 6-3 opinion authored by Justice Barrett said it's not a crime to simply exceed authorized access on a computer. The decision is a victory for a former Georgia police sergeant who ran a plate for a friend. He was charged with a crime, but the Supreme Court said Nathan Van Buren had legitimate access to the computer and to the license plate database, even if he obtained the information for an improper purpose. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
All right, Cisco, do you agree with this decision? 30 seconds.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I don't agree with that decision. I mean, helping your buddy. Listen, when you're a police officer and somebody, you have to have responsibility, and too many people take advantage of the system, which I think is a bunch of BS. So I disagree with the decision. I guess I see the point of using the computer, but maybe it's just more of the situation I disagree with. So I disagree.
James Parker, do you agree? 30 seconds.
No, I don't think police should be sharing out your plate data because, running your plate shows some stuff that I guess is not available to the public. If you can't just go look it up online, you got to go get your cop friend to look it up. that tells me enough already. Whatever that information shared that wasn't supposed to be available to the public was made to the public, and it shouldn't have been. I think they got it wrong. I don't think the cops should be handing out the data, even if their friend did it with good intent, or even if it was like, hey, he dropped his wallet, I just want to find out where he lives. It's like, well, if you can't figure it out without going the back door through a cop, then you don't need to know.
And James Pledger, what do you think? 30 seconds.
I'm not totally against it unless it was for malice or ill intent. Because, like you said, if you dropped it and trying to track a dude down or, trying to find the appraisal of something, those are different things. But if you're like trying to find out like some felonies that this guy might be convicted of to possibly use against him in a court racket, so circumstance dictates whether it's completely horrible or completely innocent. So I think the intent matters more than the action.
All right, Stephanie, points 0 to 10 for each of our debaters.
Yes, James number 1. I like where you're going with this. Your basic, umbrella stance is don't trust the system, which I fully 100% agree with, because the system is made up of people, and people are fallible and can be very, very scary. I'm giving him a 9.
All right, and for Cisco and James Pledger?
Yes, Cisco, again, same thing. I like where you're going with it. Don't trust the system, and that people can be overreaching. I feel like there should have been a little bit more passion in there. I think you caught it within you. I know that hate is in there. Everyone's got that healthy hate in there. I'm going to give you a 7.
And for James Pledger?
I love you. I love you, James, but again, I'm really concerned for you. You seem to have this idea that having faith in people's egos is the way to go. And I tend to lean a little bit more cautious, because people want to be jerks. They're going to be jerks. That's their intention. I'm going to give you a strong 5.
Okay, next topic. They've got that college diploma, but how does the class of 2021 feel about their professional prospects?
They spent their final university year in lockdown, deprived of those all-important internships. Yet more than 70% of the graduates polled by bestcolleges.com are optimistic about their future.
We've conducted several surveys this year of this group in different contexts, and this optimism and this hopefulness kind of keeps bubbling to the surface.
Co-author Melissa Venable says these young people had to learn flexibility and adaptability to cope through the pandemic, and that's left them confident of facing the future. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
So, James Parker, should the class of 2021 be feeling positive about their professional prospects? 30 seconds.
Yes, absolutely, they should. First of all, they didn't have to, they probably haven't even heard a dial tone. These kids are so young. And when we talk about, is this generation doing better than the last? They're already doing better than we were. So they're still advancing as far as comfort and luxury and opportunity. The world that's falling down around them is mostly just a bunch of people getting really excited about things that are important, but still your life is going to be really awesome. You're a college graduate in 2021.
James Pledger, 30 seconds.
I am forever the optimist, and for me, I think they should absolutely be optimistic about their future, because they did learn a lot. We all had to learn a lot through COVID in terms of changing things around and the way we do things and coming out of our comfort zone. And a lot of us had to learn from a younger generation on the adaptability of doing things digitally or socially or through social media, and just changing the way that we do things. And they're very good about that. Plus, during the pandemic, there was a lot of turnover at jobs. So there's a lot of openings for them. They should feel great about going into this job force.
Cisco, 30 seconds.
Well, listen, it's optimistic that they're optimistic. I mean, that makes me feel good that the hands of our country and everything that's been going on with all the chaos, that they have all this optimism coming out of college and what they're going to do. So listen, that should all make us all feel great that they're jacked up and ready to take on the world. And I agree, there's going to be a lot of great opportunities for them. And that positivity can only help bring more positivity and bring the country more together. So I think that's totally great that they're optimistic, and they have the right to be.
All right, Stephanie, what scores are you giving everyone? Start with James Parker, 0 to 10.
Yes. So it does seem like the next generation after us, I'm assuming we're either Gen X or millennial, that Gen Z will be doing much better, which I agree with, because they're not going to have 1,000 articles about how we don't buy diamonds because of avocado toast or whatever the heck they're saying now. I'm going to give you a 7.
Thank you.
James Pledger, what score you want to give him 0 to 10?
I like where you're going. Like, optimism is always great in the right situation. But I don't think anybody should be that optimistic about going into the job force, because I had an office job and there was no excitement or optimism when I go into a cubicle. I'd say 6.
And for Cisco, what score 0 to 10?
For Cisco, I like the idea. I like using the term jacked up. That made me giggle. Like they're jacked up mentally and emotionally, which is very different than the generations before them. I remember I went into college and out of college, not with optimism, with like great anxiety. So I'm going to say 8.
Okay, next topic, minor league pitchers getting punished for doctoring baseballs, but should Major League Baseball be focusing more attention on Major League pitchers?
4 minor league pitchers suspended 10 games after they were caught doctoring their baseballs with foreign substances like sunscreen and rosin. That follows the suspension of 3 more pitchers the week before. But the problem of juiced balls is one that many say is a major league problem, too. 6 no-hitters already this season, and the .236 batting average through May 31st, the lowest since 1968. But even with more scrutiny, suspensions in the majors are subject to bargaining with the players' union. The use of foreign substances by pitchers expected to be on the agenda at an owners' meeting today. Dave Packer, ABC News.
All right, James Pledger, do you think juiced balls are a problem? And if so, how should that be resolved? 30 seconds.
They are absolutely a problem. While home runs may be at an all-time high in Major League Baseball, runs, ERA, hits, like these are all at all-time lows in Major League Baseball because of what these pitchers are able to do to the baseball to give them more control over it and therefore manipulate the strike zone even better. As a matter of fact, Major League Baseball umpires, as a story today on ESPN, they are about to start cracking down on these substances here in the games, as we're starting to hear more and more players vocalize their dispassion for it.
Cisco, juiced balls, are they a problem? And how do you solve it? 30 seconds.
Juiced balls, steroids, speaking to each other's dugouts. The whole league is a problem. I used to be a huge baseball fan when I was a kid, but after all these controversies, that's the only thing you ever hear about baseball now is there's this controversy, this problem. They're all a bunch of cheaters. So I think the whole league, baseball from majors to minors, they need to revamp it all, get the cheaters out of there. It's just it's chaos. It seems like cheating, juiced balls, steroid. They're all juiced up. I'm done. Baseball over. I'm out.
James Parker, juiced balls, are they a problem? And how should be solved? 30 seconds.
Juice balls are a problem because anytime you insert cheating into something, it really takes the fun out of it. And, who really loses? Not me. I don't watch baseball 1 second of my life. But, there's fans out there and there's a lot of kids who idolize these guys. And really, this is what they need to see is this guy that they held up on a pedestal is spitting on balls or putting pine tar or doing something goofy to a ball. It's just the whole aspect of cheating. It's just culturally ugly. It's what your grandma said was ugly. That's all it is. And it's bad for baseball.
All right, Stephanie, were you juiced up over those arguments? 0 to 10. Let's start with James Pledger. What score are you going to give him 0 to 10?
Yeah, so I appreciate all of the detail because I also don't really watch a lot of baseball. I cheered for the Kansas City Royals one year that they won the World Series. So I know very little of it. So I was so thrilled with hearing about the other aspects of it where you're saying it manipulates the entire game because all of these other run-ins and whatever, albatrosses, other things in baseball besides home runs is ruined and manipulated because of the balls. So you know what? A 10.
Okay. And
wow.
For Cisco, 0 to 10.
Yes. This time I felt bad for James P. number 2. Last time I feel bad for Cisco now. He seems so mad at baseball. I was hearing someone's dream die live. I feel so awful. You just hate the whole league. I'm gonna give you a 6. I just feel bad for you. I'm sorry. Everything hurts.
And for James Parker, 0 to 10.
For James P. number 1. You know what? Your grandma sounds awesome, and I want to hear more stories from her. I'm going to give you a 6.
Okay, next topic. It's back to the future for airline travel. U.S. Airlines says it plans to add supersonic flights.
You can fly the future.
In 1976, British Airways touted the future of travel was then supersonic flights between London and New York. The Concorde eventually got old, too costly and unreliable. Now, 44 years later, United announcing it will buy 15 supersonic jets from a startup company called Boom that's still developing the planes. It would be the first U.S. airline to go supersonic. Flight times would be cut in half. New York to Frankfurt in 4 hours, San Francisco to Tokyo in 6 hours. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Now, don't get your hopes up. United says it hopes to carry passengers supersonic by 2029. So, Cisco, is this a good Back to the Future idea, or is it an idea that's past its time? 30 seconds.
I saw this news story tonight, and listen, I think it's a great idea, but if you ain't balling like Drake and have money coming out your ears, how are you going to afford it? $5,000 to $7,000 to go from, Seattle to Tokyo in 4 hours? The average American, the average people, they're not going to be able to afford this. I think it is great for business travel and, celebrities and the Gronkowskis of the world that want to have a rave on a flight to London to go party for a night. But I think it's a great, but realistically, who's really going to fly it?
James Parker, 30 seconds.
I think it's a great idea. Any advance in technology and the ability from humans to go from point A to point B is a plus, even though I'll probably never be able to afford it. It's just disappointing that it's going to be in 2029, and I really thought that we'd have the little Jetsons flying cars by now, or at least a flying taxi. I was hoping maybe the advanced technology of this year would be like teleporters, like from Star Trek or something. I just feel like we're way behind on this transportation thing. This is an idea from the 70s that we're just rehashing, so it's hard for me to be too impressed.
And James Pledger, 30 seconds.
I love the idea. I mean, supersonic flight, what's the old adage? Time is money. If you could get there in half the time, you're saving the company money and being able to get to work faster. But boo on the name. I don't want to get on a jet called Boom. Like, that's just not good marketing for a name of something that you're going up into the sky in. I would never get on something in a car that was like imminent wreck. It's not a good idea. But I understand the option, and in terms of James Parker, I mean, yeah, we don't have teleporters yet. It's okay, but we're advancing.
All right, so Stephanie, what scores do you want to give 0 to 10? Let's start with Cisco.
So I am okay with the advancement in technology argument, but it has gone way too far. I always think just because we can doesn't mean we should. But I do agree with you, because I remember watching the Jetsons, and I want a Rosie. That's what I want. I mean, we were told we were going to have flying cars by the year 2000, and we've got My Pillows or whatever the heck it's called. I'm going to say 6.
For James Parker, what score you want to give him 0 to 10?
I agree that it is very expensive and probably will only be for the elite. The ones that are, making the rest of our lives horrible by being so rich. But there is also a way that it could become, someone will find a way to mass market it and lower the price for everybody. So I think it'll start for the rich, but then it will be for all. And then I can finally go to England. I would say 6 as well.
And for James Pledger, 0 to 10.
I loved hearing your tight first 5 minutes to stand up. It was my favorite thing ever, because you're correct. Please don't name an airplane Boom, and please don't name a car imminent wreck. Like, you need to think of like a third one, because there is a rule of threes in comedy, and like you do one, you do the other, you do a last one, maybe have it be topical. We'll talk later. I'll coach you through it. An 8.
I appreciate it.
Okay, next topic. Attention interns, a new opportunity could bring your expectations
to an all-new high.
Forget about filing papers and answering phone calls. A Los Angeles-based marijuana delivery service is looking for an intern to test out its hundreds of different products. MJ Cannabis Delivery tells USA Today the position will help them better understand what the experience is like for its customers. The job pays $15 an hour for up to 16 hours a week. Applicants must be 21 years old, live in California, and complete a written essay or video explaining why they're the perfect candidate. Lisa Mateo, CBS News.
All right, we're starting. James Parker, is this a worthwhile internship for a cannabis candidate? 30 seconds.
Well, if you're into weed, this is your dream job, isn't it? This is like the episode of Cheers where Norm got the job as a beer taster. I have quite a few friends who would sign up for this job immediately, but $15 an hour for 16 hours a week, that's not enough to like build a career on or something. So you would still have to have something going on the side. So what are you doing on the side? You can't be like an Uber driver and the weed tester at the same time. It would kind of hamper your other job too. So I don't know if this is really such a great career choice, but it sounds fun.
James Pledger, 30 seconds.
Hours aren't great, and especially while you're testing it, like the effects after the fact. Are you getting paid for like the entire high to judge it, or because that limits the amount of time you're able to do a different job? So maybe as a part-time gig, great, but I don't know as a full-time weed connoisseur. I don't know how that looks on company letterhead when you're trying to pump out a resume, although I would love to see some of those videos that people send in to explain why they are the perfect candidate.
And Cisco, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's great. Listen, my son's in the marijuana business up in Oklahoma. Medical marijuana is legal there. He's a bud tender. He would be a great candidate. He knows everything there is to know about indicas and sativas and the blues and the purples. The one thing, though, I think is really important with this internship is they also got to provide them with food because, man, you're going to have a mean case of the munchies. So you want pizza and tacos and late night trips to Waffle House included. So I'd make sure that would be a part of the deal.
All right, Stephanie, what scores are you giving out, 0 to 10, starting with James Parker?
I love the Cheers reference. I've never seen it, but much respect to you. And I agree. This does sound like a dream job, even if it's a part-time, because my first side job when I was 17, I was a telemarketer. I called several people who were dead, but they were on our list. I would have rather been high and watching The Simpsons and getting paid for it. I'll give you a 7.
For James Pledger, what score you want to give 0 to 10?
I get a little concerned about your worry for the employer. How is this going to look on company letterhead? Who cares? I think if you show up at your job, and especially if you have a job testing weed and you show up on time, that's an amazing worker to me. I would say 5.
And for Cisco, 0 to 10.
I did have a question because to me, when you said that your son was a bud tender, is that a pun of bartender? Because if it is, that's amazing, and I will continue to use that. But I love your enthusiasm for it. I think that a perk of free food is something that should be at every single job because every job is soul sucking, and they should have given us free food to kind of even it out. I'm going to give you an 8.
Okay, well, coming up,
This is Master
our debaters have
from
things that they
550
want to talk
KTSA
about.
and FM
What that is
1071.
and what their fellow
And I'm
debaters
Dennis
think about
Foley.
it. Joining us this
Coming
week,
up
we
next,
have James
right here in Master
Pledger,
Debaters
Cisco,
from
and
KTSA.
James Parker, who are all trying to coerce our judge, Stephanie, to get them more points than their fellow competitors. Let's keep this debate going.
State your case on Master Debaters.
So our debaters, before the show, came in with a topic they wanted to talk about and present to the judge. They will get 60 seconds to do so. During those 60 seconds, if the other combatants wish to challenge, they will get 30 seconds each after the case is done being presented to present their own argument. After those challenges, the original presenter will get to rebut their challengers with 30 seconds of their own. If they change their topic from what they had sent in originally, they get an automatic 5-point penalty. Sometimes it's a strategy worth taking. That's up to them. There are also more points at stake. Our judge can now give up to 20 points at the end of each topic or take away up to 20 points from everyone, whether they gave the original argument challenge or chose to stay quiet. So after a tiebreaker thing we did during the commercial break, James Parker is going to go first with his 60-second argument, which starts now.
All right, my argument is for this UFO report that's supposed to come out. And somehow in the stimulus package last year, the government demanded that the Pentagon turn over everything it knows about UFOs, and it's supposed to be doing that. And in the lead up to it, they keep talking about all these different sightings. 60 Minutes did a report last month on it. And I'm really starting to believe in UFOs, and I feel like an absolute crazy person because I'm come from the world of radio where the people who talk about UFOs also talk about Bigfoot and vampires. And I've always thought these people have been like idiots, and it's just these fat, bored people who don't have anything better to do. And like, am I one of them now? Because I'm starting to believe in UFOs, and not like, the guy had some Nutella on the camera lens that was smudged there, and they thought it was a flying object. Turned out there's an explanation for it. No, I mean like literal aliens. I'm really embarrassed about it. I'm reluctant about it. I don't like to tell my friends about it, but I'm starting to believe in aliens.
Well, we had no challengers. So, Stephanie, what scores you want to give everyone on that argument or lack of argument? And we'll start with James Parker, who delivered that argument, -20 to 20.
I am also shocked. There's so many conspiracy theorists on radio, apparently. It's full of them. Like, I want to hear, do people think vampires actually exist? I want to, sit and have lunch with them. But I'm glad to welcome you to our side where UFOs exist, because I always thought they did. I think it's very egotistical to think that we're the only living beings that could exist in these vast thousands, millions of miles of space. So I'm glad you're back on the correct side. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. I'm giving you 11.
And for Cisco and James Pledger, who did not have any argument at all, do you want to give them points, take away points, leave them even? What do you want to do with them?
Well, you know what? I don't appreciate no response. I mean, are you guys just scared that if you say anything good or bad, like you're going to be attacked by the aliens, like they're listening? It's okay. I'll be nice.
I agreed with him. I think it is kind of crazy.
I'm going to give each of them 1.
1 point.
Keep it positive.
All right, Cisco, your 60-second argument starts now.
All right, here's the deal. Everybody's investing, they're spending all this money on these big, beautiful, high-definition 4K televisions. And what are they using for sound? A little piddly sound bar for $99. All right, if you want the true home theater experience at home, you got to invest in a home theater, right? That's the receiver. That's 5 speakers or up to 7 speakers and a subwoofer. I just don't understand. It's all this focus on the television. Oh, I've got a home theater, and then they have this piddly little sound bar that projects audio that you get better sound out of your AirPods. So to me, a sound bar is a weak attempt at providing surround sound for a home theater experience. If you really want a true home theater at home, you've got to do the investment. It's not going to cost you more than the $500 to get a nice home theater with the receiver and surround sound speakers. So quit buying the sound bars, go in heavy, and be a baller at home.
James Pledger, 30-second challenge.
Thanks for the heads up, Mr. Moneybags, but sometimes I may not be able to afford an entire home theater in front of my 4K luscious TV, and maybe I just want a little extra boost in my sound. The soundbar is going to handle that for me. I don't need the full-on rumble shaking, deep subs posted around my entire complex to give me an in-home theater. Like, I'm just trying to watch Criminal Minds a little bit better than I was watching it. I don't need the full-on venture.
James Parker, 30-second challenge.
Yeah, I'm just not into it that much. I got a pretty big TV. The sound's on it's okay. If you just want to add a subwoofer to that, that's fine. But you don't have to be drilling holes in the corner of all your ceilings and hanging stuff up or running wires. I'm just not that in. It's not that much different to me. Okay, soundbar, that'll do fine. And you know what? Most of the time, if you get a decent TV, the sound that comes with that's fine. It's almost like those guys that jack up your truck. It's like, are you compensating for something? I mean, what are we watching? Jurassic Park in here? I'm just watching some goofy dialogue. on a Netflix show. I don't need all that.
Cisco, your 30-second rebuttal.
Absolutely, I'm compensating for something. I mean, really, that is the 100% truth. And no, listen, you don't have to be a billionaire to have a nice home theater. You got to do some research. Spend some time, shop around like you would a refrigerator or a washer and dryer, and do your research. All right, heck, we spend more money on our iPhones and what's in our pocket than we do in the luxury of the home theater experience. So you just spend some time researching. I really think you'll like the investment.
All right, Stephanie, what scores you want to give everyone? -20 to 20. Let's start with Cisco with the original argument.
Yes. So my first thought is, do you have stock in Best Buy? Like, it just seems like this is an entire ad for sound equipment that I know nothing about. Like, I have pop figures. I have Funko Pop figures to spend my money on. Like, it really reminded me, though, of Dennis Miller. Like, I really wanted you to start to say, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but if you notice, these sound systems, a little bit Andy Rooney. I'm going to take away 5.
Okay, James Pledger, who had the first challenge, what score you want to give -20 to 20?
So I appreciate so much him calling out Cisco's male privilege because it was compensating for something. I appreciate that. All men should. Just take some time out of your day, look in the mirror, and remind yourself that you're inferior. That's fine. I'm going to give him 5.
And for James Parker with the second challenge, -20 to 20.
I love this challenge of just complete nihilistic attitude. I don't care about sound. Who cares? It looks great. That's all I care about. I just picture you with a beer in your hand, like Archie Bunker. I don't care. Get out of here, meathead. Like, leave my sound system alone. I love it. I'll also give you 5.
Okay, and James Pledger, your 60-second argument starts now.
All right, so there's this report about a drone that goes off on its own and accidentally kills somebody. And this is what I've been worried about forever. I don't like to be conspiracy guy. I like to be pretty optimistic, but Skynet is real and it's going to come online. I don't know why we keep trying to give things artificial intelligence to go do things, because it never works. I've seen it a million times in the movies not work. What was it, about 3-4 years ago? Facebook had these AIs that within less than a day created their own language and started plotting against us. I don't need this in my life. That's the one thing that can be a major buzzkill to anything that I do. I would prefer that we quit trying to invent and evolve past ourselves. Like, we're going to invent something that's going to replace us if we're not careful, and I don't want to be replaced yet.
All right, Cisco, 30-second challenge.
Change your name from James Pledger to James Prepper. I mean, do you have a bunch of MREs stacked up at your apartment ready for the zombies to come out, the apocalypse? Somebody totally had control over this drone. The government wanted to, assassinate somebody, and they were flying it around, probably controlling it with their iPhone, and blasted them. So, no, they're not learning themselves. I think you're paranoid. You're a prepper. Do you have Alex Jones on speed dial or something? I don't know what the deal is there.
James Parker, 30-second challenge.
I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. I think it's absolutely inevitable. It's just a matter of time. Now, I don't think it'll actually happen in our lifetime. And there's going to be the interesting middle ground. That's sort of the flash forward from the Terminator series, where we actually are going to make drones that shoot down the drones that are trying to kill us. And so there will be like sort of a golden age of robot human cooperation that will eventually devolve. But that's a long way out, and you're crazy to worry about it now. Yeah, and that was it. I think I nailed it.
James Pledger, 30-second rebuttal.
I may be a little bit worried about it, maybe more than I should be, and it should be far off, but we keep evolving at such a pace to where 10, 15 years ago, I didn't think I was going to be carrying around a fully functioning computer in my pocket either, which is why I spend more on this Cisco than I do on the sound quality in my room because I use it more. It's more useful. And so I'm terrified because have you ever had the thought of like, oh, I should really look at this, and all of a sudden you see an ad for it? Yes, computers are getting smarter and they're going to overthrow us.
All right, Stephanie, scores -20 to 20. We'll start with James Pledger with the original argument that we should all run in fear of drones.
Yes, no, I absolutely agree. Again, just because we can doesn't mean we should. There's so many things on Black Mirror that are becoming real. They're actually real. You can look them up. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. They're judging people, giving them social scores like in other countries. It's really, really scary. I didn't know the Facebook thing either, and that worries me. So thank you. I thought I was going to have a full night's sleep. I'm not going to now. That's great. I'm going to give you a 12.
And for Cisco, who had the first challenge.
It really concerns me. Just, they probably controlled it. It was fine. You're the first human that the robots take as to control. Like, you're going to be the first robot pet because you're like, I'm sure it's for the best. I mean, I trust them, of course. I'm gonna have to take away the 5 I gave you. Sorry.
And for James Parker with the second challenge, -20 to 20.
Yes, so I appreciate the Simpsons reference. I see you. And I absolutely agree. There's gonna, like you said, I'm paraphrasing. There's gonna be a giant robot war, and we're gonna stand on the sidelines and place bets on it. And I've been saying I think that there's gonna be human, robot, android hybrids, but I think, yeah, you're right. We don't have to worry about it. That's going to happen in like another 1,000 years, so we can watch from heaven and be scared then. I'm going to give you a strong 8.
Okay, well, coming up, who's going to win? All comes down to one final fight. This is Master Debaters from KTSA.
From 550 KTSA and FM 1071, this is Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins.
That argument, it ends right here. It ends right now. It's a battle this week between James Pledger, Cisco, and James Parker to convince our judge, Stephanie from New York, that their argument is the best argument. But now it comes down to one final fight.
Closing arguments on Master Debaters.
This is where it all gets decided in a 4-minute melee. I present a topic, and our 3 contestants will hash it out amongst themselves for a whole 4 minutes. No more, no less, 4 minutes. At the sound of the final buzzer, our judge will give each combatant up to 100 points or can take away up to 100 points. The person with the fewest points will get a 15-second head start, and then everyone else can join in after a bell has rung. So right now, the contestant with the fewest points, you guys want to guess who that contestant is?
Is it me?
Who is me?
It's Cisco.
It's Cisco, yes. Yeah. So the topic, what day is the best day of the week? Cisco, you get a 15-second head start. The 4 minutes starts now.
I would have to say Saturday. I mean, if you work a normal Monday through Friday, Saturday's that first day of the weekend, and you can kind of just relax. You don't have to rush to get up and get ready. You have that, cup of coffee, spend time with your family, cook a nice big breakfast. Saturday, totally.
Yeah, I think Saturday's the easy answer, but Saturday is more focused on Saturday night. You could probably make a better case for Sunday because the whole day is relaxed. Saturday is one of the days where you do your chores. You got to mow the lawn, you got to clean out the gutters, or you got to clean the bathroom, or catch up on your laundry, or just do the stuff you didn't really have time to do during the week because you were so busy working. So I really think Sunday has a little extra holiness around it for anyone who is religiously inclined. Or it also has the added benefit of There's football that happens on Sunday. There's also a lot of specific holidays that happen on Sunday, like Mother's Day and Father's Day. So I think actually Sunday should probably be in the number one slot, although I understand the case you made for Saturday. I'm still putting Sunday above that, just by a hair, though.
Yeah, but Sunday still, I mean, you have to like wake up the next day. So, by Sunday afternoon, you're already thinking about all the crap you got to do Monday at work. And you're like, oh, I got that meeting or I got to have this report done and so on and so forth. So you have that kind of anxiety and dread that you have of Monday that comes on Sunday. I agree. Sundays can be fun. You can cook out, have time with the family, but Saturdays by far, man, it's your kind of one day that you just don't have to think about work and you're away from work and you can plan the Saturday night and it's the best day of the week.
Cisco, one
See,
word for
here's
you.
the thing,
Brunch.
though.
Brunch. No one does a Saturday brunch. It's a Sunday brunch. And if you're going to be all stressed out on Sunday because you're worried about starting the work week on Monday, screw that. You're going to start with some mimosas or Bellinis, or you can day drink. You can get a little hammered during the football game. That's the joy of Sunday.
But here's the great thing about a day that neither one of y'all mentioned, and I get it. It's the last day of the work week. It's Friday. It's the day everybody looks forward to in their work week because it's the last day of said work week. Then the great news is you get Saturday off and Sunday off to look forward to, plus Sundays, since you have to wake up for church, since some people are like that, as you mentioned. Well, you don't got to do that on Saturday morning, so you can go out Friday, tie it on, have fun, and have Saturday morning to yourself to sleep in, kind of recuperate, and then maybe start to do some things around the house. Saturday, if you do things during the day, like Saturdays are so insanely busy because everybody's already off work. Nobody's home and they're all out doing things. So
Yeah, you're
Friday's
doing
a
things.
little bit better of a night to actually just get out, do things, and then be looking forward to actually sleeping in the next day, Saturday.
Saturday Night Live. You got Saturday night's all right for fighting. So I mean, it's all there. Saturday is the best day of the week by far. I mean, you got time to go down to the beach, take a trip, and then you drive back on Sunday and get ready for the work week on the next. So Saturday all around by far, and I think if you take a poll of the American people, you'll get Saturday. You will get Saturday.
Is there any holidays that are specifically on a Saturday? Because I can think of a few holidays that are specifically on a Sunday here and there.
Yeah. I mean, just because
What's the one thing you look forward to, though? A 3-day weekend with a holiday falling on a Friday.
No, pleasure. That's a manufacturer argument. The Friday thing, we just took the two best days and you were stuck with the third option. We understand you're trying to differentiate yourself, but a day you actually have to go to work is a non-starter for best day of the week.
I would agree.
Sunday.
Here's the thing. There's a bunch of people that don't go to work all the time. They're unemployed. I'm just glad to have a job still.
So just to recap or to kind of flesh out these arguments a little bit more, Cisco, you missed a point regarding Saturday, why Saturday's great, and it's great because Master Debaters airs on KTSA Saturdays.
That's probably the best argument for you.
Yes.
You should lose points for not mentioning that.
So I forgot about the shameless plug. I'm so sorry.
Man, I'm in the shilling business, and I thought we were all on board with the whole shilling thing, but I guess not. So, Stephanie, what scores are you giving everyone? -100 to 100. Let's start with Cisco. He's the one who argued that Saturday is the best day of the week. Do you agree?
Yes. No, I 100% agree because you don't have the Sunday scaries happening. You can wake up as late as you want or stay up as late as you want. And I appreciate the mentioning of SNL. But it also, if you don't want to see Elon Musk be weird and awkward, you could just not watch it because it comes on so late at night. You could just go to bed early and enjoy like a bath or something. And I love the tossing of the patriotism in there. If we poll the American people, they will tell you you're gonna run for office just based on Saturday is the best day. Let's go high here. I'll start it off. I'll give you 60.
Okay. Let's go to James Parker. He argued that Sunday is the best day of the week. What score do you give that? -100 to 100.
Oh, I know. I also, by the way, this is the lowest stakes question ever. This is relaxing. This is a good way to end. It's not about a robot's going to kill you. It's not about having no jobs and the capitalism. It's like, what's the best day? It's great. It's an awesome way to end. Just relaxes. But I don't agree. Sunday's awful. Sunday's where all the anxieties come in that was fed into us as little kids because we always hated going to school on Monday. It's been ingrained in us. It's in our DNA. Our children's children will still have the Sunday scaries. Even if they go to like Montessori schools, they're going to still have that ingrained. And you mentioned holidays and sports. Sunday's not relaxing. Sunday sounds exhausting. All of the holidays I got to get gifts for. And remember, I don't have a dad on a Sunday. Like, no, that's exhausting. I'm taking away 20 points from you.
And James Pledger, who argued that Friday is the best day of the week, -100 to 100. What score are you giving that?
Yes. Well, I thought that too. I thought, well, it's got to be Friday, right? Because I have an odd work schedule too. I work from home, so it doesn't really, I don't have to run the rat race and go to a building and then wait until it hits 5 o'clock and then immediately start drinking. However, we do have to acknowledge that people don't have that privilege. Friday for them is cut in half. You have to get up early. You have to put on an uncomfortable tie. You have to pretend to care about what your coworkers say. Like, that's exhausting. I like the potential, though. You put emphasis on the potential of a fun weekend. That's what Friday gives you. So I'm going to give you 20.
Okay. Let's do some math here. Also, I guess it fits in with the whole optimism thing that, Pledger talks about, looking forward to a weekend, and Friday's a good day to do that, I guess. So doing some math here to figure out, after a very lengthy, heated discussion, very heated, very, much yell, very loud.
I'm pretty hot. Yeah, it's really heated over here.
Yes. Very difficult discussions we're having today. It's time to name this week's Master Debater. So in third place, with 53 points, James Parker. In second place, with 84 points, James Pledger, which means this week's Master Debater, with 100 points, Cisco. You get to celebrate with 60 seconds. So you can say whatever you want, and that starts right now.
Well, thank you so much to KTSA and all of our contestants. It's a privilege to be a master debater. I've worked really hard at that. That's why I got in this business. To really craft that skill. But I want to give a shout out to our judge. It seems like we may not necessarily agree on our home theater setup, but we do agree that Saturday is the best day of the week. You can wake up with a smile. You can go to bed with a smile. And again, 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, it's the greatest show on the radio. So hope everybody enjoyed it, and just really honored to be a master debater. And sorry, guys, both of you suck. Good luck next time. No, I'm just joking. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again.
So I'll make sure I slip you the 20 next time I see the office, right? For saying that this is the best show on the radio. Forget everything else that's out there. This right here. We got it going on. That's it. Big thank you to our 3 contestants this week. James Pledger from ESPN San Antonio, Cisco from Energy 94.1 here in San Antonio, and James Parker from WRNO in New Orleans. And also a big thank you to our judge, Stephanie from New York. Master Debaters is a production of XS Studios and KTSA San Antonio. You can learn more about Master Debaters online at ktsa.com/masterdebaters. I'm Dennis Foley. This has been Master Debaters, this show where the best argument wins.
San Antonio's home for news and talk. On air, online, and on demand. 550 KTSA and FM 107.1.